Hi educators, this is Debbie Eno. Right, I finished my lesson for today and my lessons went really well. Extremely tiring, but it went really well. Six lessons or seven lessons, I can't even remember. I lost count of how many lessons I had today. But today is one of those days I was flat out. There are no breaks. The only break I have is the lunch break and the break time. But in those break time, I still have to do, a lot of bits and pieces trying to catch up because I'm new in that school, etc. So it was really interesting, the fact that still have to, be very energetic to get the student taking, etc. But I've been teaching year 10 and year 11. I haven't taught that group for a long time. Initially, I thought, oh my goodness, those teenagers really, but it's really exciting teaching them. It's lovely because I'm used to teaching year 6. No, year 13, which is the sixth form. I'm used to teaching the sixth form, which the age group is 16, 17, 18, them kind of age group. So now I'm teaching 14 and 15-year-old. Oh my goodness, we had the teething problem where they were messing around with the computer, etc., messing around with the chat, messing around with the PowerPoint. But I think they realized that the teacher have actually gone onto YouTube and have learned how to get that sorted. So I'm sorted with that. So it's really good today whereby, we normally have parents complaining about us, how we teaching, etc. But I haven't got complaints. I got parents praising me in terms of how their children are being engaged. So that's a real plus. Because as you guys know, educators, parents are quick to actually, attack us. But the fact is they're actually saying that their child have been enjoying my lesson. So that's been good. But only if they know how much it's taking me for them to enjoy that lesson, because I have to be really excited as if I'm in the physical classroom and teaching in that way. So my win today is, some parents, I don't know all of them, just some of them, saying that their child are engaged in my lesson. So obviously whatever I'm doing it right. Because what I'm doing is I'm teaching as if I'm in the physical classroom. Because that's the way I know it, that's the way I'm going to get the energy up, and that's the way I'm going to get the take on that. As from next week, the students all have to put their cameras on far as possible. Because in that school I'm in, they realize that in terms of engagement, because some school was saying because of safeguarding, the students shouldn't put a camera on, the teachers shouldn't put a camera on. In all schools, they seem to interpret safeguarding very differently. So it's nice that in the school they realize, okay, so now they're looking at it as put the cameras on because that seems to be better for engagement. And in terms of safeguarding, at least you know who is behind the camera. So one of the things the students are going to be doing is blurring the background. So in all this online teaching, they all have ways that we could actually change the background. So therefore, you're not going to be seeing what's inside of the house. You are going to see whatever background they put in automatic. Which is artificial. So that's fine. So which means in terms of, going into the private space and stuff like that, we won't see what's in the background. So that's, that's pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to my lesson next week, even more so I could actually see my students' expression, see what's going on with them. Whereas now I'm just seeing myself on the screen every day. Me being excited by myself. So it's going to be really nice to actually see them on the online platform. So I'll know what the expressions are. I'll know how they feel. I know whether or not they take it, understanding it. So that would be really nice. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what I also discovered today is not all the educators have been putting their cameras on. I think that's kind of bad because I think it's important as educators, we lead the way. We put our cameras on. So when the students actually see us, it's going to help the engagement. But next week, everybody have to put the cameras on. So that it'll be nice. I'm sure there'll be much more engagement. I'm in the process of writing a program on how to engage on the online platform, which I'm hoping to come out with in the next 3 to 4 weeks, because I feel that as educators, we need to use our skills of engagement and engage our students on the online platform. So that's something I'm working on. This evening, evening, I've got a show with the 100 Black Men of London where I mentor young Black boys and girls. So we've got a show on education, looking at what some of the challenges are with the students in terms of engagement, in terms of reading and following instruction on the online platform. So those are some of the things we'll be discussing in the show of the 100 Black Men of London. And I'm going to share the link and share the flyer on my Facebook page so you guys get to see it. So it'll be nice for people from around the world to join us and tell us what the take is, how they're finding the online platform, what are the challenges, what are the triumphs. It'll be lovely to see that. I've told you my win. What I looked at this morning was the word for the day, which is energy. So in terms of you need to bring up your energy. The higher your energies, the more positive your energies, the more you actually get from the universe and you get from your students. So make sure that your energy is up. Make sure your energy is positive. As we know, everything around us is energy. Everything is energy. So we need to be very much aware as to the energy we're giving out and the energy that is attracting to us. Right? The online platform, the students. The other thing is my year 11 group of students, my last set of students I've just had. It was nice because they are also engaging a lot more. And it's like one of them put on the chat, "Oh, Miss, you're really concerned about our mental health and mental well-being." That's my priority right now for my students. I am concerned about their mental health and mental well-being. I am not saying that I'm not interested in the intellectual aspect, but I do. But the mental health and emotional health are far more important to me than the intellectual. Because intellectually, as I keep saying, they could catch up. But mentally, when they're broken, it's more difficult for them to catch up. Anyway, guys, have a fantastic afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. And weekend, you need to remember for your weekend, you need to do self-care and self-love. Those are so very, very important, because if you do not take care of yourself and if you don't love yourself, you won't be able to get a lot out of yourself. So you need to give a lot into you so that you get a lot from yourself. Right? Anyway, guys, have a brilliant weekend. I might pop in tomorrow just to say hi and see how you guys are doing. But next week, when I go back to the classroom and we have the cameras on, I'll be able to tell you what the take is and how things are and how we are getting on with the students actually having the cameras on and what they're doing, etc. So I keep looking forward to next week's school week, because it'll be fascinating to see what's going on with them, because they've never had the cameras on from the time they started the online platform. So it'll be lovely to see. I'm sure there'll be a lot of resistance, because as we know, when we are doing something new and when we're embracing on change, we have issues with change because it's unknown, it's uncomfortable, it's not something that the brain is used to. When the brain is not used to that, it tends to resist it, it tends to kick up against it. So I'm sure I'll have a number of resistance next week with the students putting the camera on, and they'll be giving me a whole lot of excuses that the camera doesn't work, it's like a whole lot. When I asked them today, can you guys read? I'm getting my mic doesn't work. In the chat, my mic doesn't work. Miss, I've been kicked out of the session. I'm getting all of that when I ask them to read, just to get engagement. So I could imagine next week when I ask them to put their cameras on, I'll be getting all of that. But it'll be nice to hear, to see what goes on next week. Anyway, guys, bye-bye. Take care. Stay blessed. Thanks.